Welcome class 10th. Today we will be discussing the next chapter of our chapter metals and non-metals, and that is the ionic and covalent bonds. There is a very simple question that can be asked that once the school is over, why do you go home? And the very common answer is because you are attracted to your parents, you are attached with your parents, means there is a bond between you and your family members. That is why after the school is over, you straight away go to your home. Similarly, there is a force of attraction between two or more than two atoms or ions that hold them together, and that force of attraction, it is called as a bond. Now the bond, it can be of two types. It can be a covalent bond or it can be an ionic bond. The ionic bond, it is also called as electrovalent bond. The basic difference between these two is the covalent bond, it is formed by sharing of electrons, but the ionic bond, it is formed by complete transfer of electron from one atom to another atom. In covalent bond, the participating atoms have nearly similar ability to hold the electrons. Means either both are electropositive or both are electronegative, or both are having half filled valence shell. But in case of an ionic bond, one of the participating atom have electron losing tendency, means it is electropositive, or you can say it have metallic nature, and the other one, it have electron gaining tendency, or you can say it is electronegative, or it have non-metallic nature. Today we will be studying basic human nature, and that basic human nature, or we can say that basic nature of kids also. Suppose we are having a student that is having only 10 rupees in his pocket and another one that is having 90 rupees in his pocket, then what we can expect? The 10 rupees student will donate his 10 rupees to the student having 90 rupees, thinking यार 10 रुपए में क्या आता है, ठीक है, so that the other one is now having 100 rupees note. Now another case is, suppose you are having 20 rupees and other one is having 80 rupees, still you will donate, but you will be a bit reluctant to donate. मतलब आप दे तो देंगे उसको 20 रुपए, लेकिन काफ़ी मुश्किल से. But if you are having 50 rupees and another one is also having 50 rupees, then what you will do? You will say, why not share? Why should I give my 50 rupees? Why don't we share to show someone that together we are carrying 100 rupees? The same is the basic nature of atoms. They share or they donate or they receive only when the situation is quite reasonable. Now atoms, they also have a tendency to become stable by completing their outermost shell, and that can be done by losing electron, gaining electron, or sharing electron. Now the point comes to mind that when an atom will lose electron, when it will gain electron, or when it will share electrons. An atom that is having 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost shell, it will have a tendency to lose electron and form cation. Now when it will share electrons, the atoms that are having half filled shells, ठीक है, they will tend to share the electrons. या फिर वो कब शेयर करेंगे? When they have the same capacity to hold the electrons. Like chlorine, though it is having 7 electrons in the outermost shell, but it will share electron with another chlorine atom which is again having 7 electrons in the outermost shell, as both of them are having the same tendency to gain the electrons. Now we will discuss certain examples of covalent bond and ionic bond. First, let us study the bond between hydrogen and hydrogen. Hydrogen, all of you are aware, its atomic number is 1, so its electronic configuration will be 1. Means the outermost shell, it can accommodate 2 electrons, but because it is having only 1 electron, means it is half filled shell. And similarly, if another hydrogen is there, it is again having one electron in its outermost shell. So what happens is these two hydrogen atoms, they share their electrons and form a single covalent bond between them. Similar is the case of chlorine. Chlorine, it is having atomic number 17. Electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 7. So it requires one more electron to complete its outermost shell or octet, completely fill its octet. If another chlorine atom is there, again its atomic number is 17, electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7. So it will also require one electron. So both these chlorine atoms, they share one electron each and form a single covalent bond between chlorine and chlorine. Similar is the case of carbon. It is having 4 electrons in the outermost shell. So it is half filled shell. So it will be sharing 4 electrons. That is why the bond between carbon and hydrogen is also a single bond. Single covalent bond rather we should say. Now let us discuss the case of sodium chloride. Sodium, it is having 11 electrons, so its electronic configuration will be 281. Means the outermost shell is having 1 electron in the valence shell. So it is not easy to gain 7 electron, rather it will lose 1 electron to form positively charged sodium ion, that is Na+, and its outermost shell will now be having 8 electrons. Similarly, chlorine, it is having atomic number 17, so its electronic configuration will be 287, means the outermost shell require one more electron to get it completely filled. So what happens is the sodium atom gives its one electron to chlorine so that Na+ ion is formed, and on the other hand the chloride ion is formed, means sodium get its positive charge and chlorine get its negative charge. But by gaining these charges, their outermost shell gets completely filled. Now the electronic configuration of sodium is 2, 8, and that of chlorine is chloride ion, rather it is 2, 8, 8. So that is why both of them become stable. But since these ions, they are oppositely charged, one is negatively charged, another one is positively charged, so they will attract each other, or you can say they will bond with each other and form a very stable compound called sodium chloride. Ionic compounds, they differ from covalent compounds in their properties, and now we will be performing some activities to study the properties of ionic and covalent compounds. बेटा ये बहुत ही सिंपल सा सर्किट है जिससे हम चेक कर सकते हैं वेदर समथिंग इज ए कंडक्टर और इंसुलेटर। बेटा जिस भी चीज़ को हमें चेक करना है कि वेदर इट इज़ ए कंडक्टर और इंसुलेटर, हम क्या करते हैं, जिस भी चीज़ को आपने चेक करना है कि कंडक्टर है इंसुलेटर है, हम उसको इन दो टर्मिनल्स के साथ टच करके देखते हैं। अगर वो बल्ब ग्लो करता है तो इसका मतलब वो कंडक्टर है, अदरवाइज इट इज़ एन insulator. Like this spoon, it is a conductor. This glass plate, it is an insulator. हम लोग इसको यूज करेंगे to check whether the covalent compounds are conductor or insulator, the ionic compounds are conductor or insulator. First liquid that we are pouring in, it is distilled water. अब बात आती है बेटे लॉकडाउन में डिस्टिल्ड वाटर कहाँ से आया। जो हमारे एसी में से पानी जो ड्रॉप होता है वो कंडेंसेशन प्रोसेस से पहले एयर में जो वाटर वेपर्स है ना वो इवेपोरेट होते हैं, तो उससे कंडेंस होकर बनता है, तो ये प्योर वाटर होता है। तो आप देख पा रहे हैं कि इसमें कोई बल्ब ग्लो नहीं करता, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, और अगर इकट्ठा टच करते हैं ग्लो कर रहा है, इट मीन्स दिस प्योर वाटर और डिस्टिल्ड वाटर इज एन इंसुलेटर। नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन वी ऐड सम शुगर टू इट। आप देख पा रहे होंगे मैंने इसमें शुगर ग्रेन्स कुछ एक डाल दिए हैं। अगर आपने शुगर ग्रेन्स डाल के और इनको मिक्स कर दिया तो विल दैट वाटर चेंज इनटू बिकम ए कंडक्टर और इट विल स्टिल रिमेन एन इंसुलेटर। ये चेक करने के लिए हम देखते हैं फिर से, नो द बल्ब इज नॉट ग्लोइंग, इट मीन्स इट इज स्टिल एन इंसुलेटर। बेटे अब हम क्या करते हैं, अब हम थोड़ा सा इसके अंदर सॉल्ट डाल देते हैं ऐसे पानी में। जो सॉल्ट होता है, सॉल्ट ऐड करने आप देख पा रहे हैं जो मैंने सॉल्ट सॉल्यूशन लिया है उसके बाद इस बल्ब ने ग्लो करना शुरू कर दिया है, बट इट इज़ नॉट एज ब्राइट एज द अर्लियर केस। With the same setup, we will check the common chemicals available in our house, like vegetable oil, like ghee, like petrol, like diesel, and we will find that petrol, diesel, vegetable oil, ghee, they do not conduct electricity just like pure water. And we can conclude with this simple activity that these are called covalent compounds. Because these covalent compounds do not have ions or charged particles to conduct electricity, that is why they act as poor conductors, or you can say insulators of electricity. But the ionic compounds like common salt, when added to water, it started conducting electricity because the sodium chloride get ionized to form Na plus ion and Cl negative ion, and these ions, they help in conducting electricity. But do solid sodium chloride conduct electricity? No. Solid sodium chloride do not conduct electricity because it have ions, but they are not free to move in solid state. So what other alternative can be there to make solid sodium chloride a conductor of electricity? We can add a bit of water to it, or we can heat to convert it into its molten state. In solution state and in molten state, the ions are free to move, so it will conduct electricity. I am having diesel in this small glass container, and I will be trying to first add common salt to it, and let us see if the common salt gets dissolved or not. I have taken common salt in it, add it to this test tube, and even after shaking, you will find that the salt, it do not dissolve, rather it settles down at the bottom of test tube. ये आप देख पा रहे हैं टेस्ट ट्यूब के नीचे अभी भी सॉल्ट क्रिस्टल्स बिल्कुल क्लियर आपको नज़र आ जाएंगे, ये डिज़ोल्व नहीं होता. नाउ वी विल ट्राई विद शुगर. डिस्कस करके देखेंगे. घर में कॉमनली अवेलेबल होता है वैक्स, जो कि कैंडल से आपको मिलेगा, एंड वी विल ट्राई टू डिज़ोल्व इट in diesel and petrol. Let us see what happens. On the basis of the above activities performed, now we will prepare a table regarding conductivity, solubility, melting point and boiling point of salt, sugar and wax, and will try to conclude whether these are ionic compounds or covalent compounds. On the basis of above activities and previous knowledge, now we can conclude that the ionic compounds and covalent compounds, they can be easily distinguished on the basis of their physical properties. Number one, the physical nature of ionic compounds, they are normally hard and strong because of strong force of attraction between positive and negative ions. But the covalent compounds, they are normally soft, just like we had seen wax. You have seen wax, a wax you can see. Though it is a mixture of covalent compounds, but still you can easily break it. Next thing, but you cannot break the crystals of common salt so easily. Next thing is melting and boiling point. Again the same thing. When you try to melt the salt on your gas stove by heating it in a spoon, you are unable to melt that salt. But when you just simply put a candle over the flame, it simply melts. So the covalent compounds, they are having low melting and boiling point, but the ionic compounds, they are having high melting and boiling point, again because of the strong interionic forces of attraction. The third thing is solubility. The covalent compounds, they are normally soluble in covalent solvents like kerosene oil, acetone, petrol, etc. But the ionic compounds or the electrovalent compounds, they are normally soluble in water but insoluble in organic compounds like petrol, diesel, etc. etc. And the last one is the conduction of electricity. The ionic compounds, they conduct electricity whenever they are present in their solution state or in their molten state, because in solution and molten state the ions are free to move, but in solid state the ions are fixed. So in solid state they won't conduct electricity. Now comes the covalent compounds. The covalent compounds, because they do not get ionized, they do not have charged particles to release in solution or in molten state, so they are normally insulators or poor conductors of electricity.